How's everybody doing on Tuesday? I'll let you guys roll in. Jam out to some Zealand worship. I'm going to give you guys this big tip, real quick video on this one before I jump over into a Periscope. So come on in. As you come in, say hi and let me know who's on. Tell me. Hey, hey. Hi, Melissa. How are y'all on Tuesday? See, it's so weird. It jumps from like 1 to 30 before anybody. Tambri's on. Heather's on. Darren is on. Hey, Darren. What's up, my brother? Christina. Well, hey, from Iowa. Hi, friend. Shanna Mae. Shanna Mae Goodyoung. I like that. That's like everything. Kansas. Hey, Janet. Tammy. Jenny's on. Is it Jenny or Guinea? Guinea Scott? Dustin. Katie. All right. So make sure on these videos, hey, speaking of which, this is Good Father by Zealand Worship. It's a little bit different vibe on it. It's good. It's good. Watch this. Oh, it's good. A little bit more upbeat. Stephanie Joe, what's up, girl? April, Marie, Christina. Man, we got a good group. Okay, here it goes. So good. Chase is on here. All right, enough of the jamming out. Enough of the jamming out. I want to give you the goods really quick on this because this is something that is a big deal, and I didn't realize it was something the Lord really wanted me to share with you guys until about an hour ago, and I see some stuff online, I see some comments, and the Lord's like, man, you got to give them the formula. You got to give them the formula today on the 3 steps. Hold on, let me write it down because I want you guys to be able to get pictures of this. Because I am going to do a Periscope after this, but I want to jump on real quick. This one's really quick. Hey, Carolyn, Nancy's on here, Chelsea's here. But we're going to talk about the 3 steps to forgiveness, okay? Now, why is forgiveness such an important part of relationships and communication? Well, the main reason, there's lots of reasons, but the number one reason is to prevent bitterness. Like, the main reason why you want to walk out forgiveness, no matter what happens to the relationship, okay, no matter what happens to the relationship, is because you do not want to have bitterness in your heart. Because unforgiveness ends up eating you up from the inside out like a cancer on the inside of your soul. And it will limit you in all that you can accomplish for the Father. And that is not what we want. We don't want anything holding us back, right? So that's why forgiveness is so huge. But you guys do not understand the steps that it takes to go through full forgiveness, which is why part of you guys are having a hard time fully forgiving people for all kinds of things. They're fully forgiving people for stuff they've done to you, fully forgiving old bosses or family members or mother-in-laws or whatever it is. And so here, I want to give you the steps to forgiveness. I did not learn this until a few years ago, and Cindy and I were doing some marriage counseling with some mentors of ours. And so when they told us this, we were like mind blown. And we had never actually heard this. We had never actually heard this way. And once we were taught this, and we've really gone through the process, because at the beginning, when I teach you the process, at the beginning, yes, Denise, that is right. He forgave us, so we must forgive others. But that's really easy to say, and it's real churchy. You know what I mean? Like, it's like going into Sunday school and people asking you a question, and you go, Jesus, to every answer, because of Jesus. And that is true, but walking it out is different. Like, it feels different, and that's not enough. So I'm going to give you the process so that you understand what it's like to forgive, because this is a process that Jesus does for us. So I'm going to give you the exact things. But when we were giving this process, I'm writing this down. Literally, I was not planning on doing this. This is completely Holy Spirit jumping on here because I was planning on doing other stuff. I was planning on resting over lunch and giving you guys a Periscope later on something different, which we are, seriously. But I'm going to give you this first because I am concerned about your entire being being healthy. I'm concerned about all of it. I don't want just your liver gallbladder to be healthy. I want your whole body to be healthy because emotions are so key. Okay. Here's the thing. Darby, I've not forgot about you, okay? Let's message me. Anna, how are you? Nancy, so good. Okay, Janet, good to see you. Like layers of an onion. It is, but watch this. It's because we don't understand the process and we don't do the 3 steps to forgiveness the way that you're supposed to do. There's actually 3 steps to fully forgive someone. And here's something that's really important, okay? Forgiveness is nothing to do with you and the other person. Okay, a lot of you guys know this. I know I'm preaching to the choir, but you need to hear it again. And I'm going to tap on the mic. Hello, check, check, check 1 5, check 1 5. Is this mic? This mic's on, right? Okay. Forgiveness has nothing, 0% to do with you and the other person. That's called reconciliation. That is not forgiveness. Forgiveness is an act of faith. It's an act of obedience that you either giving forgiveness or receiving forgiveness, because watch this, you have to receive it because forgiveness is a gift that you give someone because they do not deserve it. You didn't deserve forgiveness. You didn't deserve forgiveness when the Lord gave it to you. They do not deserve forgiveness from you, which is part of the reason that you guys have a problem with it. But watch, back up. They don't deserve it. It is a gift that you are giving them because forgiveness is an act of obedience between you and the Father. That is it. Forgiveness is to break the disconnect between you and the Father and to break off the bitterness so that you can fully hear Him, so that you can fully walk out your destiny with Him, so that there is no disconnect between you and the Father. Okay? All right, you get that? Now, this between us is called reconciliation, and that may or may not happen. You know, when stuff happens and things go wrong and hurt is caused and offense is taken, you know, sometimes reconciliation is not possible. Sometimes reconciliation is not even wise. But forgiveness can still be given. Watch, forgiveness needs to be given even if it is not received by the other person. Okay? Terry Franklin, how are you, brother? Now, the flip side of that is forgiveness also on your other side has to be received in order for you to really own it, for it to really get inside your heart to change things and break off that negativity, right? Okay, so remember that. That's step 1. That's not even part of the process yet. We haven't even got in. Forgiveness has nothing to do with the other person. It's an act of obedience between you and the Father. Period. Period. Okay? So no matter what happens, you're called to forgive them. And when the disciples asked Jesus how many times, they said, they were trying to be really holy. They said, well, how many times should I forgive my brother? 7 times? And they asked him 7 because 7 is like the perfect number. 7 is like Jesus' number. They go 7 times. And they were being all snarky about it because they were trying to be super holy. And he goes, no, 70 times 7. And they were like, what? That's 490 times. Which basically means forever. You know, he was basically meaning that you'd forgive them every single time, which was unheard of because to them, Jesus was breaking a barrier and breaking a mold on a traditional cultural idea that once someone had wronged you, you could forgive them, but there was a limit to how much they could be forgiven. After that, you just killed them or they went to prison, okay? Every single time, every single day, every single offense. Forgiveness, 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 which is exactly what Jesus did for us and what He does for all of us every day. Okay? All right. So let's talk about, there you go, Denise, Ephesians 4. Let's talk about the 3 steps to forgiveness. I'm going to give you these 3, and then I'm going to put them together in a phrase and what you need to probably write out. Some of you guys need to write this out. This is what we had to do. You know, Cindy and I had to do this for each other. Like, we had to write these steps out for each other as we were healing in our marriage. We had to write this out to people that had wronged us. We had to write this out several times until we really got good and became proficient at doing it in our head when we needed to. Like when we knew that we needed to go through forgiveness, now we just like pray through it. And it's just something that's automatic. Okay? All right. Step number 1. There's a 3-step process and it goes in order. You ready? There's a 3-step process of what you're doing for them. First step is forgive. Okay? That seems a little redundant. 3 steps of forgiveness, and the first step is forgive. It's not. Watch how we put it together in a minute. So the first step is the actual part of you saying, I forgive you for ABC, and you name it, and you be really specific, okay? Be really specific. If you go, hey, I forgive you. With our kids even, if Ellie does something and Harper gets upset, or whatever, and we say, hey, you need to go tell Harper you're sorry. And then part of communication, part of forgiveness and reconciliation is in them apologizing and coming to you, and then you saying to them, hey, I get it, I forgive you, but you need to be specific. I forgive you for this. I forgive you for that. I forgive you for this thing you said to me at 4 o'clock in the afternoon on Tuesday. Do you understand? Like, it has to be very specific, because the reason that one of you guys said, well, forgiveness is like layers of an onion. No, it's not. Forgiveness is instant and it's done if you do it correctly, but it's per offense. The reason it feels like layers to an onion is because there's so many offenses. Sometimes there's so many things that happen within one situation. There's forgiveness that needs to happen on multiple levels because there were so many things. Forgiveness is not multi-layering. Forgiveness is instant and done. It's that person may have offended you and hurt you on 20 different things in that one situation. Do you understand? So when she says, hey, we make Ellie go or Harper go or whatever, and we do this to each other, say, hey, I'm really sorry for, and we have them be specific, for doing this. I'm really sorry for doing that, or for saying this, for saying that. And then we have them say, right? Then we have them say, if with the kids, to teach them, I forgive you for X, Y, Z. Okay? Liz, what if the other person does not know how much they hurt you? Well, then they might not know that it's that big a deal, which is why they wouldn't try to make it right. How would they know if you don't bring it up? And so when you really get right with the Father and you forgive them to the Father, then when you tell them, say, hey, I just want to let you know the thing that happened, it really hurt me, but I'm not holding anything. I just want to say I fully forgive you on this. And then you leave it, but you do not expect anything in return. Hello, hold up. Some of you guys are holding on to bitterness, and you guys are holding on to these things that have happened because you're waiting on them to wave out the white flag, and you're waiting on them to grovel at your feet and beg for forgiveness after you've already given it, when that's not necessary for you to forgive them. That is not necessary for you to forgive them. That's right, Darren. Forgiveness requires communication with God and with other people. You communicate with God first. The people don't have to respond back to you. That's not what it's about. Get that, Liz? Good. Okay, now, first step, forgive. I forgive you for X, Y, Z. And I'm going to put it together in an entire 3-step process, an entire 3-step statement once I give you all 3. Step number 2 in the process of forgiveness. 3 steps. Step number 2, release. Step number 2 is where you break off the connection between them and that hurt. Step number 2 is where you break it. You break the hold that thing that they did to you or said to you or didn't say to you or whatever it is holding on your heart and your spirit. And so I forgive you for telling me that, blah, 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 blah. I release you from ever making it right. Listen, I release you from ever making it right. Okay? April says, came in late. Why do I have to confront them and tell them I forgive them? You don't have to if you don't want to really break it off. Sometimes it's not even possible. April, you do not require the other person to have forgiveness. You can fully forgive them. That's something that's only, April, that's only on reconciliation. Sometimes that's not possible. If there needs to be reconciliation, if it's someone that it's a spouse or a family member or a friend or someone where there's going to have to be reconciliation, then you're going to have to talk to them eventually. But sometimes that's not possible. There's some situations where we've forgiven them, and then we've never had contact with them again, and so that never happened, okay? And so it just depends on the situation, all right? So number 2, release, okay? 3rd step, you ready? 3rd step, bless. Bless. At the end of this 3-step process, you are blessing them in prayer. You're blessing them, the person that wounded you, the person that hurt you. You are blessing them to be better in the future and to never do that again or whatever to somebody else. So here's how this works, okay? What if you don't want to forgive? Well, then you're not going to get forgiveness. That's where you get bitterness in here. Darren, it all depends on the person. Sometimes the most loving you can do for someone that's close to you is to be honest with them about how they hurt you. Exactly. Just like Darren said, sometimes people just don't know. They don't know that they hurt you. And so then you're holding on to all this stuff and they have no clue. You know what I mean? So sometimes the best thing you can do for them is just to bring it up. You're not judging them. But you need to make sure your heart is right, brother. You need to make sure your heart's right, sister, before you go do that. Make sure you're not accusing them. Make sure you really do have forgiveness in your heart. If you're angry about it, if you have all this attitude about it, then you're not okay. You're not forgiving them yet, and so it's not time. All right, so let's do this in a 3-step process, and this is how this would work, okay? So when Cindy and I, well, this is a perfect example of it. When Cindy and I were going through our healing in our marriage, and when we were, reconnecting everything and going through and pulling all the roots and really letting the Lord re-till the soil for us, one exercise we did with this couple that taught us this process is we sat in front of each other. You don't have to do this exactly. I'm just showing you an example. Listen to me. We sat in front of each other, okay, and they sat back to us, and they prayed out loud for us while we did this. Now, this is a unique situation, and we went on for hours, and they prayed for us all night long. We went through the night doing this, but it was one of the most pivotal things that ever happened in our reconciliation, in our marriage, to really accelerate our healing, okay? So one of the things we did is we sat face to face, and Cindy would say, "You hurt me when you did this. I forgive you for that." And she would bring it up. "I forgive you for doing this thing." And then I would bring stuff up and say, "I'm sorry when I did this. Please forgive me." Well, when she would do it, when we would go through forgiveness, we would say this out loud. "I forgive you for X," whatever it is. Now, you may just be journaling this down. You may be writing this out. This may not be face-to-face. If you get the chance to be face-to-face and it's an adult conversation and it's mature and it's non-emotional, it can be crazy healing and it's super intense and amazing. If it's not going to be a mature conversation, if the other person isn't ready to really have confrontation, then you don't worry about it and you forgive them. And you forgive them in the Spirit, and you forgive them with the Father, and then you let it go, and you live life, and you go be amazing, okay? So here's what it is. We would journal it down, and you say, "I forgive you for XYZ. I forgive you for abandoning me at the post. I forgive you for the thing you said about whatever. I forgive you for not being there for me when I needed you. I forgive you for the thing that you did with the kids on Tuesday afternoon. I forgive you for not helping me that day I needed it." Do you understand? Whatever the thing was, bring these things up. "I forgive you for X." Okay? Next line. "I release you from ever making it right." Ruth, you can't ever take the emotion out of it. The Father does, okay? You can't ever take the emotion out of this on your own, Ruth. And that's the part where forgiveness is totally from the Father. You have to let Him wash you of that before you get into this whole thing so that it's not this mud throwing thing. "I release you from ever making it right." Because remember, that point is so important because they don't have to make it right for you in order for you to forgive them. They don't have to become perfect people. They don't have to do things right. That's not your job. Your job is not to make sure that you forgive them only if they're perfect forever. Come on now. Hello, your job is not to make them perfect. Your job is not to change their heart. Your job is to release them. Your job is to release them so that then they can make it right and they can work with the Father on that. You're not responsible for that part. "I release you from ever making it right." The third thing, "and I bless you to be better in the future." I bless you to be better in your marriage. I bless you to be better in your relationships. I bless you to be better in your business. I bless you to be better in the future. Forgive, release, bless. You leave one of the three out, you will not fully forgive that person and you will hold on to it, okay? You will hold on to that pain. You will hold on to that emotion, and it can change the body, So I want you guys to really pray through this. I want you guys to really go through and really pray through, hey, is there somebody that I haven't forgiven? Is there somebody that I'm really holding on to? Is there a family member? Is there a parent? Have you really forgiven your parents for, the times that they let you down? Some of you guys on here, one of the things that I totally feel, some of you guys on here are harboring all of this unforgiveness for your parents for things that they've totally either they've already passed away or they have no idea that they've done, that they let you down on, and it's been affecting you your entire life. It's time to forgive them, but it's time to release them and then you bless them to be better the rest of their life, or you bless them to be better wherever they are. Do you understand? It's time to break that off. Forgive, choose forgiveness, choose freedom, okay? Choose forgiveness, choose freedom, and walk in the calling that you have in the Father. Be amazing, be awesome, and don't hold on to that. You're better than that. We're all better than that. Forgive, release, bless. You guys are awesome. Go be amazing. We'll talk soon.